Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a man has died after his car ploughed into a concrete bridge in southern Tasmania. Tonight, his female passenger is fighting for her life, as early investigations suggest speed and alcohol were contributing factors.
Shattered glass and tyre tracks, the only signs left of an overnight tragedy.
This is another death on Tasmanian roads, and as you know, it's just one too many.
Emergency services were called to the scene at Longley shortly after midnight, but sadly it was too late for the male driver after failing to navigate a right-hand bend.
The man shortly died upon their arrival. Early reports and the investigation show that the vehicle has left the area of the Longley pub.
His female passenger, also a Ranelagh resident, remains in a critical condition.
She's suffered serious injuries, and as I mentioned earlier, she's currently receiving care in the Royal Hobart Hospital.
It's believed speed and alcohol were contributing factors in the fatal crash that happened here on Huon Road. Police are urging drivers to be cautious.
It was dry. Conditions were clear and the traffic was light.
With 34 fatalities already recorded, this latest death adds to a horror year on Tasmanian roads.
Opt for a designated driver and take care of one another out on the roads.
Police are urging any witnesses to come forward. Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
2 people have been charged after allegedly robbing a pizza delivery driver last night. A female was delivering pizza in Shaw Street, Ulverston, when 2 men approached her demanding money. It's alleged one had a knife and the other a firearm. They then allegedly fled the scene with cash and pizzas. The delivery driver was not physically injured. More COVID chaos in the state's hospitals is inevitable. That's the message from Tasmania's health union. The industry group is warning understaffed wards are suffering and are again pleading with the government to intervene.
Already overwhelmed and overworked, the pressure continues to mount on the front line.
We're already seeing significant numbers of staff testing positive, yet again, some for the second time. That will put enormous pressure on a depleted staff right across our health system.
In the face of rising COVID cases and winter illnesses, the Healthcare Workers Union says the public health system is buckling under increased demand.
They're in too much of a rush to declare that things are back to normal, and they're not. Our health system is in a parlous state.
As staff are taken out by illness, there's a push for paid pandemic leave to be reinstated.
We don't want to force casual workers and workers without sick leave to choose between earning a living and going to work and potentially making themselves or co-workers sick.
Infections were down slightly overnight, 1,355 new cases recorded. A man in his 80s is the latest life to be claimed by the virus, while 26 patients remain in hospital. No further cases have been linked to outbreaks at the Launceston General Hospital or Northwest Regional Hospital, but the situation is being monitored closely.
We are managing as well as possible. It's a challenging environment, as it is across the nation.
There's fears Royal Hobart Hospital will be next to escalate to level 3 of its COVID management plan. But the government remains confident the state's health system is well equipped to handle a 4th wave.
If it isn't, it is only a matter of time. And the reality here is that the government should be ahead of this. They are completely incompetent.
The government insisting it's done the work to protect Tasmanians.
Well, we've employed more staff over the course of the last 2 years to not only support the increasing demand in our health system, but also support the pandemic.
The emergency isn't over and we're up for a really disruptive couple of months.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania finished off a perfect campaign at the AFL National Development Championships. Our under-16 boys were too good for the Swans today at Kingston's Twin Ovals. The Devils winning 82-29. Oliver Cubank was Tasmania's MVP. A late goal has snatched victory for Launceston City with scores locked at 1-1. Stefan Tantari dribbled half the field to fire the ball home and take the win over the Lions. South Hobart scored a comfortable 2-0 win over Clarence. In the NBL 1, the Launceston Tornadoes couldn't get the job done today in Ringwood after a Saturday night success over the Eltham Wildcats. Meanwhile, the Hobart Chargers have won both their round 11 games on the road, putting together a strong final quarter to beat Frankston 5 points. Competitors were raring to go for round 3 of the Tasmanian Circuit Racing Championship. Motorsport fans lined the track to get a glimpse of all the action in Baskerville. The competition has reached its halfway point now, with round 4 taking place at Symmons Plains Raceway.
Good evening everyone. Temperatures below average today with Hobart, Burnie and Devonport all 12 degrees and 10 in Launceston. Across the state, King and Flinders Island both the top of 14 degrees, Smithton, Friendly Beaches and Strawn 13, 12 in Lowhead, St Helens and Grove and just 4 in Lyowini. Low-level cloud can be seen over northern and eastern parts of the state today, with high-level cloud moving in from the west. Across Australia, a frontal cloud band lies from the West Australian coast to the coastal border of South Australia. Speckled convective cloud sits over the southwest of Western Australia, while the rest of the country is mostly clear. Tomorrow, a high-pressure system dominates New South Wales, Victoria and parts of the mainland, while a trough extends from South Australia to the West Australian coast. North to northeasterly winds tomorrow 15 to 25 knots, reaching 25 to 35 knots in the west and south. And there is a gale warning current for the central west coast and a strong wind warning for the far northwest and southwest coasts and lower east and southeast coasts. Partly cloudy and 14 in Hobart tomorrow, Dover and Ouse both 13. Launceston a shower or 2 and 14, 13 in Devonport, increasing showers and 12 in Scottsdale. 13 degrees in Burnie tomorrow, showers increasing and 14 in Strawn and Stanley. And cloudy and 14 in St Helens and Swansea and Ross a top of 12. On Tuesday, showers falling as snow above 700 metres. Showers about the west, south and east on Wednesday. And on Thursday, showers about the west and far south, fine elsewhere. 18 in Perth tomorrow, Melbourne and Adelaide both 14, a shower or 2 in Sydney and sunny in Cairns and Darwin. And currently Hobart is 8 degrees and partly cloudy, 9 and mostly cloudy in Launceston and 10 degrees in Devonport, mostly cloudy there also. And that's Sunday night's weather, Lou.
And that wraps up your Sunday night bulletin. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Have a lovely evening. Good night.